Hey, it's the Boardroom Coach here with your daily lens, looking beyond the headlines to what they reveal about leadership, decision-making, and organisational behaviour under pressure. In this episode, I'm taking a look at AI investment and how that story is being discussed almost entirely through the lens of scale. How much is being spent? How fast infrastructure is being built? Whether energy companies can cope, and whether the returns will justify the capital being committed. Now that's an important conversation, but it's not where I'd start in the boardroom. The question I'd start with is much more direct. What value are we delivering? That's worth saying again. What value are we delivering? Because once a major investment has been approved, something changes inside the organisation. The language becomes more confident. The programme becomes more visible. We have meetings, we've got dashboards, steering groups, delivery milestones, supplier updates, and internal communications. And all of that creates a feeling of progress. But progress isn't the same as value. That's worth saying again also. Progress is not the same as value. You'll often see the evidence in the room before you see it in the numbers, if you're looking. Because once it shows up in the numbers, well, that's too late then. If you're looking, you'll see the signs. Updates get smoother. The risks are still there, but they're being described more carefully. Concerns aren't ignored, but they're placed slightly further away. People start talking about phases, platforms, enablement, and future benefit. And none of those words are wrong, but they can begin to protect the decision from scrutiny, from question, and from dissent. And it's in these instances where leadership judgment gets tested. It's not when the board approves the investment. It's 12 months later, when the organisation has built the status and the identity around the programme. At that point, asking whether the value is real, well, that can feel uncomfortable, a little bit awkward. It can sound negative, even when it's the most responsible question that can be asked. And it's the question that protects against sunk cost fallacy. But this is present beyond AI. Here are some familiar examples that might resonate with you. A business implements a new system and reports a successful rollout, but managers are still working around the implementation because implementation isn't the same as adoption. Adoption creates the value. A company launches a transformation program and it hits milestones, but customers don't experience any improvement. Improvement is the value. A leadership team enters a new market and celebrates activity while the commercial case weakens quietly underneath. They haven't landed the value. Now, what's interesting here is that organisations rarely experience this as poor judgment. It feels like alignment. It feels like commitment. It feels like pace. That's why it's so hard to spot from inside the organisation. And it's exactly where external challenge, coaching, and board advisory work can make a real difference. Not by attacking the decision, but by helping leadership teams see the conversation more clearly. See where we're looking at evidence, where we're accepting reassurance, where does the language become more confident than the value being delivered. It's protecting the investment. So here's my question for you today, and it's a simple one, but it changes the discussion. If you stripped away the roadmap, the business case, and the program update, what value could you prove today? The most dangerous investments aren't always the ones that fail visibly. They're the ones that keep producing activity long after the evidence of value has left the building. You've been listening to The Boardroom Coach. If this episode gave you something to think about, subscribe for more episodes direct to your inbox. And until the next time, look beyond what's being said to what it means and what it leads to.